When Archie smiled, it was as if the sun had come out. With his dark red hair and his green eyes, he was the image of his father, and her heart turned over with love. "We'll be all right." "I know I can rely on you to take care of June." "Yeah, I'll look out for the brat." From the lofty position of his 13 years, Archie saw his 9-year-old sister as a troublesome kid. But despite their constant bickering, Sandra knew that he would care for her as best he could. Yet he shouldn't have so much responsibility, and it hurt Sandra because she couldn't provide the loving, stable home her children were entitled to. Leaving the house, Sandra ran to the end of the dingy lane to catch her bus because she didn't want to be late for the office. She was so used to the boarded-up houses on either side that she no longer noticed. This slum area was all she could afford since Tim died, although she was always looking for something better. She worked in a biscuit factory in the accounts department, keeping track of invoices and making up the wages. It was hard work, but she didn't mind that. In fact, the only thing she disliked about her job was Reg Prentice. Reg was the office manager, and a menace to anything in a skirt. None of the girls liked him, but most of them had the courage to stand up to him and tell him to get lost when he touched their bottoms and squeezed up against them in the corridor. Sandra had asked him to leave her alone several times. In fact, he'd been such a nuisance that the previous evening, when he'd pushed her up against the wall, she'd slapped his face and told him that if he didn't stop harassing her, she was going to Mr. Jenkins, the overall manager of the factory. "Do that, and you're out of a job," Reg hissed against her ear. "Besides, I'm your manager. He's hardly going to believe a little scrubber like you. We all know what you widows are like. You can't do without a man. I know you don't say no to some others." "I'm not interested in men, just in doing my job," Sandra protested. "I've seen you giving Mr. Jenkins the eye," Reg sneered. "Well, he's the sort that doesn't stray, and he doesn't like loose women. By the time I finish telling what I know, you'll be looking for work without a reference." "I don't give in to bullies," Sandra retorted. "He won't believe you. I know Martha Jenkins, and she will vouch for me." "Not by the time I've done," he muttered beneath his breath. Sandra had walked out on him, but a lingering doubt nagged at her mind. If Reg really had it in for her, she might be in serious trouble. He was a vindictive man, and she wouldn't be the first woman to lose her job because of wicked lies. Her bus was stopping. She got off and walked quickly towards the factory, noticing the headlines on the newspaper stand. Anthony Eden had taken over from Mr. Churchill when he resigned, and now he was talking about calling a general election. As if that would make any difference to women like her. Reaching her workplace at the corner of Brick Lane, Sandra hung her jacket in the small dark cloakroom and entered the office. Here it was lighter because of the large window at the back, and there were several desks, some equipped with typewriters, others, like her own, piled high with folders and an overflowing in-tray. Reg smirked at her as she passed him, and she saw two of the other girls whispering and giving her odd glances. "Don't sit down, Mrs. Miller," Mrs. Lansbury said from the doorway into her office. "Mr. Jenkins would like to see you immediately." Sandra looked at the manager's secretary and saw frosty disapproval in her eyes. She glanced at Reg and knew at once that he was gloating. Obviously she was in trouble, and she had no idea why. "I want to play with Mimi," June said that evening, pulling at Archie's hand as he dragged her into the baker's at the end of Whitechapel Road. "I don't see why I shouldn't go round her house. Her dad got her some skates, and she says I can borrow them." "You can go round there on Saturday," Archie said, as he paid for the crusty cottage loaf from the baker. "It's no use you sulking, June. Mum told me to look after you. I've got to get some tea for us both, and then I've got schoolwork to catch up on. I have to do 20 sums tonight, and they're hard ones." "I hate sums," June said, making a rude face at him as they walked together towards the row of dilapidated houses where they lived.